What is addiction? Addiction is defined as the habitual compulsion to engage in a certain activity or utilize a substance, despite the potentially devastating consequences on the individual's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and financial well-being. Instead of addressing life's obstacles, tackling daily stress or confronting past or present trauma, the addict responds to pain by resorting to a pseudo-coping mechanism. Addiction offers an illusory refuge and leads people down a self-destructive path that takes a heavy toll on both themselves and those around them. Addiction alters the emotions of the addict, who turns to the substance in search of a psychological high or a fast chemical fix. The addict uses the substance or engages in the activity to achieve stress relief, attain a sense of control, change his or her mood, or banish real-life issues. Typically, addiction manifests both psychological and physical characteristics. Physical dependence occurs when an individual's body develops a dependence on a certain substance and experiences withdrawal symptoms upon discontinuing the consumption. While initially, an addictive substance induces pleasure to the user, his or her continued consumption is driven more by a need to eliminate the anxiety brought about by its absence, thus leading the individual to compulsive behavior. In addition, the addict's physical dependence on the substance often becomes a determinative factor in his ongoing use of the drug. Psychological dependency becomes evident when the addict experiences withdrawal symptoms such as depression, cravings, insomnia, and irritability. Both behavioral addiction and substance addiction usually give rise to psychological dependence. You might say you're addicted to grabbing a bag of cheese puffs after school, but if you can skip the store because you're in a rush, you probably just love snacks. Addiction actually causes a person to crave a substance to the point that it's no longer their choice. So if you go from the casually smoking pot at a party every now and then to cutting school to get high, you could be developing an addiction. Addiction is a disease. Over time, drugs or other addictive substances will actually change your brain. Eventually, your brain needs the drug just to feel normal, which is why addiction can be so hard to beat. Addiction is chronic. Chronic means that something happens over and over again. So when you have a chronic brain disease like addiction, you have it for life, even if you aren't still using the substance you're addicted to. Addiction is relapsing. For example, you may know someone who hasn't had a sip of alcohol in 10 years but still calls him or herself an alcoholic. That's because they still have the addiction to alcohol, even if they aren't drinking. And if they were to relapse, start drinking again, it would be hard for them to stop.